Excited to have this guest on. He's doing us a giant favor. We've had a crazy day, chaos, and I couldn't think of a better way to right all the wrongs than to have a meme lord come on. That's right, he's Lord of the Memes. Please welcome Winston Montag. How are you, brother?
I'm very good. Thanks for having me, Sam.
Winston, very excited to have you on. You're doing us a giant favor. It's been chaotic here in Tinfoil Hat Land, and you're just you're the right medicine for what ails us. Winston, for those who may not be familiar with you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where our listeners can find you?
Sure. I'm an activist that started doing street activism about 20 years ago. I was protesting at Ground Zero with We Are Change back in 2006. I did handed out DVDs, flyers, that kind of thing. At one point I started making memes, and then they just took on a life of their own, began to go everywhere. I didn't realize I was going viral until people started saying that I was lying because I posted some memes and they said I was lying. I didn't know that everybody had seen them. And so I ended up eventually becoming a professional meme lord, working for a few different organizations. My profile name is Winston Montag. That's Winston Smith from 1984 and Guy Montag from Fahrenheit 451.
Love it.
You can find me at Prophetic Memetics on Instagram, Twitter, and mostly Facebook. I usually use my Winston Montag profile a lot, but if you want to see my memes most often, it's probably best to follow me on Instagram at Prophetic Memetics.
I love it, dude. And the meme war is powerful. Meme magic is powerful. A lot of people think the AI can't read it. That's why it's so powerful. But it's also such just a single picture can just ripple with everybody. And, some of the memes out there are so good. So I watched a show for a short time called The Boys. It was on Amazon. I don't know if it's still going. But I think it was season 2. Stormfront comes there, and then Homelander walks into her RV, and he's like, "What you doing?" She's like, "Oh, I'm just sending out memes." And he goes, "What?" He goes, "Well, me and my organization I work with, I'm paraphrasing it, we create memes, we put it out, and if we see it make it to Facebook and all that stuff, we know that they worked." And which to me kind of gets into the government's role in these memes, because some of these memes come out so quickly. Do you think you're battling government meme makers?
Oh, definitely. Well, I did an interview on the Stranger by the Hour podcast, and those guys were former soldiers that worked for Army's psychological operations. And they told me how they would have these memes, and these lawyers would all go over the memes and how it's a really interesting conversation. Absolutely, there's government memes, but they mostly suck because they're not really true, so they're always pushing a right or left agenda. So they only appeal to the people who are already in those two cults. And if you're not in those two cults, then, what I do is, you can argue that it's nothing, right? You could argue that it's really stupid and it's just some words on a picture. But what I discovered, I didn't know what a meme was. I didn't know about Richard Dawkins. I didn't know that it was a clever idea. I didn't know what I was doing at all. I just knew that I suddenly had found this thing, that I had this crazy, incredible voice that was millions of people were seeing what I was writing. And what it really boiled down to is you can't make somebody watch a documentary. You can't make them read an article. You can't do that, but you can plant a seed. And memes are an incredible way to get you to look. I used to make some memes with I'd use hot girls sometimes. People got mad at me, but guys would look at that, and I'd say, "For a good time, call." And at the bottom it would say Congress, and talk about World Trade Center 7.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
It catches their eye,
Well, I used to do something called twerking in politics, where I would just find the hottest twerk videos, and then I found a guy from the 1850s, and I was able to move his mouth, and I would just give conspiracy takes, and then and you'd use the asses shanking to bring everybody in, and it was called Twerking in Politics. I think that's great. You did that. If you want to discover who invented dance, go look up the dancing Israelis. And it's such a funny ass meme, and it's so powerful. And those who get it, get it. and it gets the job done. It relays a ton of information with a little bit of work. Now, where did the word meme come from? Do you know?
Yeah, it's from Richard Dawkins' 1976 book called the Selfish Gene, and he was trying to show that ideas could replicate like genes do, and so he called it a meme. And he uses the example of like a backwards baseball cap. You know, when I was growing up, if you turned your hat backwards, like my grandpa used to get mad at me if I turned my hat backwards. And then all these people, all these baseball players did it. And like now you can see that where it's like the flat brim hat, right? Nobody had the flat brim, and then everybody does.
Except for the guy in this show. Pissed
Right,
people
exactly,
off.
right. So it just catches on, and so like memes are like that too. Like if I capture the zeitgeist at the right time, like with what's going on right now with Trump, right? Where I made memes about Epstein like 9 years ago professionally, telling people like, hey, you should check this guy out. And I was being made fun of all the time, like, oh yeah, there's a billionaire with a secret island, like yeah. And then you see what's happening now. Well, now's this perfect time where you can go, do you still trust the plan? Do you still think it's going to happen? Do you still think he's playing 5D chess? And if you make these right memes in the right way, you force these people to look at it and go, and some of them won't because that's how it is. But some people are willing to go, hey, man, maybe I was fooled and just admit like, you got hoodwinked. Okay, it happens to everybody. But the memes have this way of burrowing in your head. If I say the right thing at the exact right time and I make it a joke, a lot of my stuff is a lot of comedy to what I do. I'm a huge comedy nerd. I've seen a bunch of, Tom Segura and Bert and like a bunch of people. I went to Cat Williams right before he blew up the internet. Like I've loved comedy all my life. So for me, it's like, those are my punchlines. And if I make you kind of laugh, like Carlin would make you laugh, but he'd also make you think. Bill Hicks would, he'd make a joke, but he'd also be talking about some really deep shit, And when you do that, there's a magic to it where you connect with people and you can put this idea in their head, and they might they might argue with you then, but then later that night they're sitting there going, "Damn, that meme made a good point," and it gets in their head.
I love it, dude, and I love it, what you said, which was planting a seed. That's the key to everything. It's like you don't sledgehammer people. Just give them a little doubt. It's so interesting to me. One of the things that I do, because I've been doing this conspiracy stuff for so long, and I've just learned, like, why are you arguing with people? It's a waste of time. So when I know something to be a fact, right? I know I've done a ton of research into it. I know it to be a fact, right? Mm-hmm. And someone engages me in a discussion, and they're coming from the I don't believe any conspiracy world, which is hilarious. So they'll ask me a question. I'll give them the answer. When they're obviously not happy with the answer, they'll push back and get emotional and all that. And all I say is, okay. It's unbelievable how powerful those two letters are. Okay. All right. If that's what you want to believe. Okay. I hand to God. They go, what? Because we've discovered this with the Blue Sky app, right? The reason everyone who went on Blue Sky hates it now is because it's an echo chamber. And they're addicted to confrontation. They want that confrontation. They want Mega to come on there, tell them that they're crazy and they're stupid and they don't know. And then they feed off that. When you're on an app where everyone agrees, some people hate that stuff. And they're not getting that fix they need. So when someone engages you like that and you're like, okay, they're like, hey, why don't you want to fight?
Because that's another thing is they're expecting a conspiracy theorist to want to fight them.
Yes.
So when you hit them with the okay, it might think, do you think I'm not smart enough?
Yeah.
To fight against you? So we're just okay.
Or like, why am I arguing with you when you've done no research and I've done a ton of research? Mm-hmm. It was like Red Band, who I love with all my heart, when that Ninjas Are Butterflies clip came out, and their clip game is.
I know. Stop.
It's no. You're so great.
Good. Yeah, but they're
I don't know
good.
how they do it.
Yeah.
What's the clip? What do you mean? What Red Band clip?
It's the Red Band clip where I discuss. What was we were basically, it was discussing. Bill Clinton and the history of Bill Clinton. And I got the college wrong. I said Princeton. I actually think it was Oxford. Someone said it was Yale, but I know he went to Oxford. And he catches a essay charge, right? And he doesn't catch a charge, but he gets indicated in an essay charge. And that kind of where they capture him, right? Oh, hey, dude, you can get tried for this. We can go to court for this. You can go to jail. Or you just kind of play ball with us and we can kind of own you for the rest of your life. And then I talk about how the guy who's the only dissenting person on the panel of the JFK investigation who said this story doesn't make sense. While he was driving, he was going to the airport and he got on a plane and disappeared. They never saw him again. And that driver was Bill Clinton. We've had multiple guests come on here and say that and talk about that. So I try to bring some to these shows that maybe they didn't hear. So I go, oh, it's Bill Clinton. And then Red Band jumps on and tweets in. And he only tweets me when he wants to talk smack. Is he's like, oh, yeah, that's what I love. A conspiracy with no evidence. And I'm like, shut up, Red Band. Why don't you just stick to looking like you're dying and putting out shitty AI music, right? And he got ratioed. That was the funniest part of that whole thing is how Red Band got ratioed on his own tweet. But that's it. Like people don't want to be told at gunpoint what the truth is. So with memes, you can do what you said, which is plant the seed. And that is the most powerful thing out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have to say I'm not as mature as you guys are because I'll argue for hours. But for me, I'm gaining from it because I get to see what the debate is, and then I get to formulate our side of it, which is not the right left, but it's actually the truth. So when I hear like with the again, just to bring it back again because it's current, with the Trump thing, I got on one of the posts in a Fox News post, and they're going, Elon stole the Epstein information. I'm no fan of Elon, but I'm like, come on, dude. And so I start making memes, making fun of that argument because there were multiple people making that argument. And if you're making a stupid argument and you think you're saying something clever, and I immediately already have a picture that's making fun of exactly what you just said, it's worse than me typing back because it's so obvious that your argument has been so destroyed. There's already a picture ready waiting to make fun of you for what you just said that you thought was super clever.
That's a great point.
So funny.
That's a great point.
Yeah, so it's a great way for me to like help shape the argument on our side when they're like, because like again, it's what about Clinton and Obama? Like, yeah, they're scumbags too. Now what? Like they all suck.
Yes.
So when they use that stuff, if I already have a meme ready, and then I give these memes, my friends take them, and then they have them, and then those people who can't express themselves as well as I can, or don't have the facts and the knowledge that I do, but they agree with me, they know what I'm saying, they agree, they could just use that and go boom, and then other people see it, and other people see it, and all of a sudden I'm helping shape the argument more towards the truth, No,
I think that's wonderful. And you bring up that point about when people are like, well, Clinton and Obama, they didn't do that. You're like, yeah, they're garbage too. Yeah. And I do that with Trump all the time. Yeah. People are always like, well, Trump did this. I go, yeah, I don't trust Trump as far as I can kick him. Right. Yeah. And because I would go, if you really go to me, what is Trump's administration going to look like this time? I would have told you probably everything he's doing right now is exactly what he's going to do. Right. I mean, you just had hope in somebody that you don't know. It's like the rules of the Ronin, right? You don't know this person. Why are you putting all your eggs in his basket? Well, because we're mammals and we need a leader. And again, they're selling us kind of like when a guy's trying to get laid, he says whatever he has to get laid. And
the other basket sucked even more.
Yeah, I mean, like the people that think this is going to be any different under Kamala Harris are actually hilariously stupid. The Joe Biden bombed Iran, was called Genocide Joe, the difference between Trump and Hillary is like he has closeted gays behind him and she has trans BLM and fat feminists.
What would have been the narrative for Harris for Jeffrey Epstein?
It wouldn't even get to that point.
You don't even think they would have
because their whole thing is that the Democrats are so deep into it, we're not even gonna touch it.
Yeah.
Well, the real problem is they're all owned by Israel. Like the whole Epstein story, like the whole fact that they make you focus on a list. Who gives a damn about the list?
Yeah, I agree.
Who has the footage? Israel has the footage. Ghislaine Maxwell's dad was an Israeli spy. Her sisters run a complicated computer software program for the Department of Defense. Both of her brothers are doing anti-terror stuff in the UK. That's all just a coincidence? They're all just deeply connected to all this stuff within the government? No, because they're all Israeli spies. They all work for Israel. Kamala Harris and all them are owned by Israel too. Nobody in this government, besides maybe Thomas Massey, would say, hey, you know what? These guys they're all working for Israel. Like, so you were never going to get the truth about this ever because Trump is owned by Israel. Like, it's just that simple. But of course, that's the third rail. You're immediately an anti-Semite if you ever bring up the fact that all roads lead back to this. And I'm not saying that Jews and Israel is the only one, but clearly, when this particular thing, this is definitely a Mossad operation. And so they want you to focus on this list and not who controlled Epstein. You can't be a regular person and blackmail the most powerful people in the world and get away with it. That's just crazy. They'd be pulling your fingernails out and getting all your data. But if you got a government behind you like Israel and you got a secret intelligence agency behind you, you can do that stuff and people will give you a $50 million mansion.
No, you're 100% correct, dude. 100% correct. And I have no problems with calling out Israel. I have no problem with calling out Zionists. Yeah. And, again, this goes into G. Edgar Griffin's doc. You just said earlier nobody wants to watch documentaries, which I totally agree with. I send this doc to everybody. Nobody's watched it.
I love docs.
Well, the problem.
That's why we are who we are.
Yeah.
We actually watch docs.
But you like new docs. You like fancy. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say that. You like the new docs that are coming out, right?
More production does make it better, but I can watch a shitty like documentary because they don't have the money and the budget before that.
Yeah, I mean like
Hibbler ones. Hibblers are amazing.
Hibblers and shit. They're amazing, and they're like studio level good. I'm talking about old school docs. That the photo, the film is grainy because it's so old. Like, again, the G. Edgar Griffin doc and about the capitalist conspiracy. If you watch that, you will know exactly what's going on right now. It's pressure from above, pressure from below. I can't get anybody, even the smartest people I know, to watch this doc and stop falling for the right-left paradigm. This is all emotional, spiritual warfare. They want you to not know if you're coming or going, and that's the whole thing. And like, even Dana's catching up to it. She understands. Like, she listens to me a little bit more, and she was like going crazy on like, oh, we've got troops in LA. Nobody here's seen any troops, but you've seen a camera footage of it, and it makes you feel like, oh my God, we're entering martial law, which is what they want. And then she goes, why is Gavin Newsom allowing this to happen? Because he wants chaos too. It's the uniparty. They want Latinos to kick off chaos so they can come in and say, we need martial law, which they will never give up. Yeah. We just yesterday, nobody even talked about it. We don't have to take our shoes off when we fly anymore.
Really?
Yeah, that just happened yesterday.
That's a huge win.
That's like 25 years, dude, almost, that they were making you take your fucking shoes off.
I didn't know that.
It just happened yesterday.
Nice.
Right? I mean, look how long, and that's the littlest, stupidest thing. I still think California's under COVID protocol.
Yeah, the whole country went crazy after COVID. I mean, that was the defining line where you're either able to learn and grow, or you're just going to be part of this cult. Because, I mean, when you think about the fact that they made people freak out, and at no point in time did the media ever say that there was an 84% chance. It was the whole time. It was 99% chance you'll be just fine. And they still had people that, to this day, who are scared out of their mind and still wearing masks and still won't acknowledge that those shots are killing anybody. Like, that was the moment where I was like, wow, like, I really am surrounded by it. Like, but then they're not really stupid, right? Because if you told them there's a 99% chance that they could win the lottery, they'd all go right to the store. So there's something that fear-based mind control where it just turns off their brain, and they became so terrified and so paranoid that it was like, I'm just going to ignore all reason, and even though I know this isn't right. And what you say about, oh, now you can keep your shoes on. Look at all the people on those planes. As soon as they said you can take your mask off, they're all like, woo! Well, that just shows you right there. You knew there wasn't you weren't wearing that mask because you thought you were in danger, or you wouldn't immediately take it off. You just were doing what you were told. And the fact that you all
such
cheered,
a good point. That's such a good point, man. Imagine that. 1 second, you're like, are we going to die? Next second, you're like, yay. Yay. You remember July 4th during COVID protocols? We're celebrating our freedoms, wearing masks. I mean, dude, what's more demoralizing than wearing a mask, blowing off your fingers, using a firework, celebrating your fake freedoms? I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah. And then you got Gavin Newsom yelling about religious freedoms when he shut down churches during COVID. But that's the demoralization. That is what they want you to think. We don't give a shit what we said, what we did. We're going to do whatever we want, and we're going to shove it down your throat. And that's the demoralization. They want to break your will. That's all of it. And this is why dude, did you guys see Grok? Is that what it's called from Twitter, Johnny?
Grok, yeah.
Grok went nuts yesterday, which I totally think fits into the narrative of we got to protect the Jews. The Jews are just under attack. It's so much hate. You're like, well, it's not really. I mean,
that's a very good Jew voice of yours.
Yeah. Sorry, actually, you'll have to edit that later.
That wasn't a good one?
That was a very good voice.
No, it was funny.
Yeah, it was
well,
funny.
the point is that, you're going to have to beep that a lot. But the point is, it's like no different what everyone else is getting. But if you add what Grok said, that adds to like, we got past these anti-Semitism laws, which is a slippery slope to martial law. Everything you got
now, even a computer is racist.
Yeah,
right?
even a computer is racist. You racist bigot computer.
Yeah, if you connect dots, you're immediately a scumbag. But I mean, it's not our fault that those roads lead back there. And I know I've listened to your show. My friend listens to your show all the time. Justin, he loves your show. I've listened to your show many times, and you guys know it too. Like, it's also the Bank of England. It's also all these. Like, there's a bunch
100%.
All these, yeah. But I think that again, like you nailed it, man. It is a lot of demoralization, right? It is a lot of gaslighting, and this is true. Nope, it's not true anymore. Today it's true. Now tomorrow it's not true. They're doing that shit on purpose. Like they know it's making you crazy, and then eventually you just believe whatever you're told. But when this many things lead back to Israel, which is what happens, we have a right to say, hey, man, why are all these dual citizens in our government? Why are they making all these decisions and they don't really have loyalty to us? Why are all these people who are in charge of these companies, why are they all Zionists? Why are we all supposed to just ignore that they're killing all these kids in Gaza? And if they throw a rock back, it's like, oh, you're a terrorist. And it's like, well, I don't know, man. I think I'd throw a rock back too if you cut off my power, my water, you were starving me to death, and you're shooting it like you're sniping my mom. I think I'd probably fight back too at some point, but that wouldn't make me a terrorist. But we have this media control who's controlling them, a bunch of Zionists, which aren't even really, I don't even think they're real Jews. I don't even look at it that way. I look at it more like God's chosen people are Jews. But I know that's not the most popular thing. But then, I don't care about being popular. I just care about telling the truth and doing the right thing. And that's what led me to being on this show and not being like everybody else. And, I was made fun of for a lot of years. And now a whole bunch of those people that made fun of me are going, damn, he was right about a lot of shit. Now, people are interviewing me going, hey, this guy knows a lot of stuff. Well, it's because I cared about what was right. And you're right. It's a spiritual battle. And what they do is evil. And it's not just them. It's all those Bohemian Grove scumbags. Like, they're all doing stuff like that. So it is the right thing to stand up against that. And if you're getting heat for it and you're being told you're a scumbag by scumbags, then I don't mind that. Because I know what I'm doing is the right thing. I know I'm right to stand up for getting poison out of the water, getting poison out of the food, or, exposing a false flag, or trying to stand against a war. That's the right thing to do. I don't care if it makes me popular. I care that I do the right thing. I care that my soul, when I go to sleep at night, feels good because I did the right thing.
No, you're completely utterly right. It's that meme that my friend sent me. And it just encapsulates my life. And have you guys seen it's the Rick and Morty's meme that says your boos mean nothing? I've seen what you cheer.
Yes.
No.
And I love it. I love it. It's the perfect saying to encapsulate people in our genre and how we go. We talked about on the last episode about just like, it's like if you're anti-conformist, you will be pushed out. And the conformists will hate you for it. I listen to sports talk radio all the time because I'm old. And the venom they spit at conspiracy theorists, they get so angry at them. And it's because they force them to ask questions they don't want to ask. And
yeah, well, have you seen every weatherman right now is going, oh, cloud seeding. Before it was like cloud seeding was a conspiracy theory. Now it's like cloud seeding definitely didn't have anything to do with those floods. Over and over.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, we cloud seed, but it has nothing to do with it. I mean, like that mullet wearing motherfucker should be brought in jail right now. Like the guy who said 40 hours earlier he seeded the clouds.
Yeah, I made a bunch of memes about him on my page. Yeah, in the like I said this morning, like you think Al Roker is going to tell you about top secret government weather modification programs while you're drinking your coffee on the Today Show? Like that's not happening. That's not what they do. If they're admitting publicly that they were cloud seeding, then what aren't they admitting?
Oh yeah, dude, that's a great question.
Do you think they're trying to play like the Mandela effect in real time? How they're trying to, I mean, I know that they're lying to us because they just said they had the list, but do you really think it's like any like Mandela effect? See who falls for it and forgets that they told us that?
That's an interesting take.
You get what I mean?
I can't believe you got there, but yeah, I get what you're saying, dude. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like the Mandela effect in real time. Like, look.
Or manufactured. Here's this reality. Oh, it's a new reality that doesn't exist.
And how many people fall for it? Oh yeah, no, the Jeffrey Epstein did die. They said it already.
Yeah,
and some people live on that Mandela like.
You got to be chugging that Kool-Aid to pretend Epstein didn't exist. You got to really be drinking that shit down hard to actually think that's not, to me, that's maybe them trying to do a Mandela effect. But I remember cornucopia on my Fruit of the Looms. But you ain't never going to make me forget Epstein. I don't care what y'all do.
No, I'm with you on that. And, it's just like if they want us to believe a certain narrative and that narrative is true, which we know it's not, then my heart goes out to Jeffrey Epstein because he hung himself before he could get off on because they had no evidence. He should have. The next day he was going to court and he would have gotten let go because there's no evidence. And just poor Ghislaine Maxwell just sitting in a jail for nothing.
No, it's awful.
I feel like we should send her a letter. Like we should be her pen pals.
Yeah, we should. Hey, boo, I'm sorry.
Wasn't
when
it Goebbels too? The
fat
big
rack, get out. Come see me.
Let's not forget she's got a fat, nice rack.
Yeah, she was the hot sister. The other ones were unbearable to look at. And he's like, I got one attractive one.
Imagine how bad the other ones are. If that's what you got.
Some Snow White shit.
That terrible haircut she got.
Yeah, I mean, but we have that fat of a rack. You want to test it. I call it the heat check. Really rich guys do that, where they get so rich they like to get the worst haircut and then walk around with tens and just demoralize everybody.
The owner of the Raiders.
Oh yeah,
I was gonna say Mark Davis. That's so funny.
Will's always got fine bitches around him. You're like, how? Why?
Yeah, because they get it. But yeah, I mean, it's again, we brought up in the last episode, but I'll bring it up again. The Tucker Carlson interview you talked about how they were basically, this is a signal to the elites. I know we ran on taking out the deep state and going after the pedophile networks and all that stuff. Don't worry about it. We got you.
Okay, imagine if you were one of those elites. You're sweating it. Trump said he's going to release the files. He wins. You start sweating it. And now that's what that was, to remind you, you're good.
You could.
Don't worry about it. Stop sweating it.
Dude,
Keep doing your thing.
The only pedophiles getting arrested are autistic ones by Alex Rosen on Twitter. He's just picking off these autistic, socially awkward pedophiles. And I'm not absolving them of their sins, but that's what I'm looking at. These people have zero social
And now
ability.
that you say that, I think the government somehow sends him the emails so he can keep catching them. We're like, look, someone's doing the job of catching these pedos.
That's an interesting take. Wouldn't doubt it. But because, and again, Alex does great work. I would love to have him on the show. I'm not at all taking anything away from what he's doing. But it's like there is that kind of feeling that by catching these low-level people who live in their mom's basement, it gives the illusion that we're trying to stop pedophilia. And what I've learned doing this game long enough, that only poor pedophiles get caught.
Yeah. And most of the time when they put it in the news, they say we busted a sex trafficking ring, and all they're really talking about is prostitutes with like consenting adults. Like, I don't even think that should be a crime. It's not a good thing to do with your life, but that's a victimless crime. If you're a goddamn adult and she's an adult and you both agree to it, That's your damn business. Like, that's not even really a crime.
Sounds like free market to me, capitalists.
Right. Yeah.
As long as it's not somebody who's like
supporting
been
it.
trafficked. Or
No,
something,
you know.
I mean,
and
Diddy
that's
just got
American
out.
chicks, by the
But
way.
they call it trafficking. And
Everywhere
then the
else they
But
gotta
you know,
get
I mean, someone
trafficked.
who's like somebody's got their passport
Yeah,
in
he
a
said
drawer.
that.
or-
He
yeah.
said that. He said that, like, as long as it's like consenting adults.
Well, it is. I mean, look, Diddy got out, and there was some sex trafficking stuff going on there, and he.
Well, they threw that case.
What, do we know about the sentencing yet on that? Has that come out?
No,
yet?
it's not happening until October. But they won't let him out, which is really weird.
That is weird. Yeah, it's kind of what you said, right?
Somebody
Like maybe
thinks there's something
yeah.
else coming down the pike.
Yeah.
And maybe they're just trying to see how people react to him not getting caught. And I don't think it's good. You know?
I mean,
Well, if it's an intelligence operation, they're never going to expose it.
Why
Diddy's
would they?
Part of the same type of thing, right? I mean, it's like the same idea that Trump's like doing a secret plan. I think he's been owned the whole time. Like, what did he bring you? A destroyed economy and the MAGA jab. Like, he didn't do anything that he said he was going to do the first time. And as soon as he came in, he's like, I got more MAGA jabs. How about Palantir? Let's surveil everybody.
You're so right.
It doesn't matter. Dude, so I mean, like,
It's
they're
the
all
old
owned.
Freemason
You
saying.
Yeah, you do not get in with this is the way I try to explain it to people. They're not going to be able, and this is what crazy is because people know they're lying about COVID, and people will know they're lying about 9/11, but they think voting counts. Like, you think they could pull off an operation like 9/11 or an operation like COVID, where they convince the whole world that the flu disappeared, but they're worried about your vote? They can't control voting machines. Like, that's so stupid. That's the dumbest. Like, I'm sorry, but I mean, I just think that is the dumbest thing that you live in a world where you understand there's these complex psychological operations, but oh man, the voting machine, they can't figure that out. It's too complex. Like, they just put two puppets up there. They knew that you were sick of politicians, so they brought you this orange savior, and he's always rallying against the system. Meanwhile, he's like meeting secretly with Kissinger, and he's connected to the Rothschilds that bailed him out long before.
Yeah,
that.
in the
He's been
80s.
owned forever. He's been owned forever. Like, you are not getting a real politician to run for president. They won't. They will never make it to the White House.
And the blackmail is so powerful, dude.
Yeah.
It's so powerful that he completely destroyed any chance he had. And he had a chance going into this administration of going down as one of the greatest presidents of all time. And the blackmail is so powerful. The corruption is so powerful. He threw that all away. Guys, we're not even a year into his second administration, and it's gone completely off the rails. And he's not giving you anything you want. The only thing he gave you was, let's get rid of trans.
Oh, and immigration.
And a bunch of lip service.
And immigration, too.
He's still
But
bragging about the shots. Even his dumb supporters knew the shots were killing people. And he's still bragging about, I'm the godfather of the shots. Huh? If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have a vaccine. Well, why did everybody reelect you? Because you killed millions of people. Like, why is that just okay? If it was Fauci or Biden that done it, oh my God, he killed all these people. But when Trump does it, well, you know, because
They did the same thing with Bush after 9/11, and everyone knew it was bullshit. They still voted that fucking guy back in a second time. And then all my friends, and some of them I love with all my heart, they were just like, yeah, this proves that the first time was okay. I go, no, this just proves that people are idiots and sports politics is more important than right and wrong. That's what this proves.
It is sports politics. That's exactly what. But even that's not true, because even in sports politics, you know, you're a Raiders fan too. If the coach sucks, we're all like, "Hey man, this coach sucks. He needs to get fired." But in sport, you know, in politics, like, I don't care how bad he sucks. He's the greatest. It's better than the other.
We got 4 years of this faggot.
Yeah, it's just the same. Both sides are the exact same. They think they're so different. But if you're somebody like me and you've watched them for 20 years, from Bush to Obama, like, it's the same. They say the same stuff. They make the same excuses when their guy sells them out. It's the same thing. And then next time, we'll just vote harder.
Let me just say one caveat to that is that how the elites treat each side is a little different. And I'll tell you why. They give the left what they want, right? They did give a couple tuition. They paid off a couple. They whatever they did, they canceled some debt. But they give the left what they want because the left wants subversion. The left wants to kill all your institutions, kill all your old paradigms, which is basically Marxism. That's what the left wants, is Marxism, and that leads to the weakening of the country. They don't give the right what they want. Now they're going to try to go after guns.
Because we really still live under the Patriot Act, though, right?
Right.
So then the right pushes fascism. So
Well, no. Both sides push fascism. It's the difference between, and we're not arguing here. We're on the same side. But it's like there's good fascism, bad fascism, and people don't realize they play that game. And they love fascism when they go after people they don't like.
Right.
And they hate fascism when it comes after them. That's the only time they hate fascism, when it comes after them. Like when they go, hey, men who live like women can't play women's sports. To the left, that's fascism. Right? To the right, that's good. And it is good because when you have a domestic abuse case, no one goes, well, he just has more, it's not that he's bigger, it's testosterone. That's the big problem. No, he's physically built bigger than her. And that's why he's dominating her, because our bodies, men and women's bodies, are built to do two different things. And physical violence and activity, men are built better for it because they went to war, they went to fight, they went to build. That's what men did. Women were nurturers. And when you bring a violent body into a nurturing competition, the violent body is going to win every time. Maybe not every time, but 99% of the times. But they don't give the right what they want, because the right is for tradition. Whether you agree with it or not, we can go through all that and be like, that's bullshit, that's bullshit. But therefore, traditional values strengthens the country. A traditionally strong economy, a traditionally strong law enforcement that protects the people from the criminal element below and the predator class from above. Those are traditional values. Those don't help them destroy the country in a Bolshevik war, which what we're in right now. We're in a Bolshevik war. And if we've said this before on the show, but you need 4 pillars for your society to thrive. You need to outlaw violence, unnecessary violence. You need to outlaw stealing. Okay. You need to protect children at all costs, and you need to shun lying. We could probably all agree that both sides of the political parties thrive in lying. So we'll take that out in terms of one side. But there's one side that is all about corrupting these 3 other pillars of no violence, no stealing, and hurting children. It is blatantly obvious which side the people of that party are for and which side is against it.
Well, I think the traditional left would argue with that, because there are traditional leftists who actually were anti-war and actually against big pharma.
Yeah, old school liberal. I'm talking progressivism.
Right. Yeah, so it really depends on, are you talking about the politicians or are you talking about the people? And then even when you're talking about the people, are you talking about the most extreme fringes of the right and left, or are you talking about most people? Because most people are actually kind of in the center. And even they might be really left online, but if you talk to them in real life and you're like, yeah, but what do you think? Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, behind closed doors. Like I live in LA, and they're all full-bloated, suck themselves off fucking progressives. And they have to, because conformity.
You're in a weird spot there, bro. You're like on an alien planet.
Yeah, you're so right. I haven't lost friends. They still text me back. They still love me. I don't know if they want to do my show anymore because of me and my criticism of Zionism and Israel.
Right.
And because, let's face it, a certain group of people control everything. I don't care. It really doesn't. It doesn't bother me. I'm just not going to be. I'm not going to have a mental warfare against me, some gaslighting into not believing my eyes and my ears and the wisdom of my experiences that certain groups run Hollywood. Now, you can argue that they created Hollywood. They can run it, it's just the truth. But don't tell me it's not real. Don't go through when you argue with somebody who is, I'm not going to say the word, we'll call them the chosen people, whatever they want us to believe in.
They like that, yeah.
Okay? Yeah, which isn't real, in my humble opinion. That's the Schofield Bible and the small, subversion of another fucking paradigm of the way we think. Slow, just destruction of it. Schofield Bible starts putting these footnotes telling you who they're talking about. Schofield himself was a fucking felon picked to do that exact thing that he did. I have no problems with that. Okay, when the chosen people are 2% of the population, yet they've won 40% of the Oscars. You know what are we doing here? And when you argue with the chosen people, they'll push back really hard that they run it. And once you get to a point where it's so beyond obvious, the evidence has been presented, their next argument is, well, we should run it. We create it. Okay, that's fine. Then why did you just try to gaslight me for 30 minutes trying to tell me that I'm a bigot when you and I both know the same thing? I don't care. I don't hate you. Sorry. But, you know, I wouldn't be here. Nobody here would know who I am if it wasn't for Mitzi Shore. I love her. I would do anything for her. I would do anything for people like Tammy Bronson and Dana, my girlfriend. I love them. They've done They've had incredible positive effect on me. I don't hate them. I'm just not going to be told because something happened in the 1940s that we should be okay with them killing children and sniper firing people that fucking just want food. I'm just not going to do it. And I'm not going to fall for this narrative that this reaction to what they're telling me happened on October 7th is acceptable. I'm not going to, even if at gunpoint, you made me believe the official narrative of this problems, reaction, solution situation that happened on October 7th at gunpoint, meaning cocked, finger on the trigger to my head, I have to accept it. It's ridiculous, dude. My career is not that important to me when it comes to when I take my last breath, was I as authentic as I can be? Could have been. That's really the only thing that matters. Was I a good dad to my kids? And I'm trying my hardest. Like anybody, I fall. Occasionally here and there. I'm trying my hardest. But was I a genuine person? I try my hardest. That's all that really matters to me. And there's not any program in the world that will convince me killing children is an acceptable reaction to what I believe is a false flag operation to allow them to try to get the Greater Israel Project. These people keep bringing up October 7th, acting like this is the only reason they're doing this because October 7th, when the United States under Trump and Israel is now trying to tell Libya or Lebanon they have to be broken up into 3 countries. Why do you have the right to do that? Why do you have the right to tell people what their borders are? Even though those are made up borders by the British intelligence. Those are made up borders.
Well, it's interesting. When I was growing up, when I was a little kid, I remember when I first heard about, like people hate Jews. And I was thinking, that's weird because you can't even tell if somebody's a Jew. Like you can tell if somebody's black or Mexican or something. Like at least that kind of made sense. But in my head, I was, I'm like 7, 8 years old. And I'm like, how do you even know that somebody's Jewish? Like, it didn't even make any sense to me. And then as I started to wake up to what was happening in Gaza, this is back during the Bush administration. I remember like talking to one because I grew up with these 2 Jewish kids. And I remember writing my buddy Ethan. I was like, and what's up with it? Like, what do you think about all this? And when I really started challenging them, I'm like, yeah, but look at what they're doing to these kids. Like at the end of the day, it was just like, we're the chosen people. We can do what we want. It was like,
unbelievable.
Yeah, it was like, and I know this guy my whole life. It's immediately like, no, we're chosen. So, and dude, I don't care what it. I don't care if it's Scientology. If you're walking into the room, you're like, I'm special, I'm chosen. Everybody here can kiss my ass. Fuck you. Like, fuck you, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, but I mean, honestly, like, I don't care who you are. You're like, you're not better than everybody else.
The sure sign of narcissism is when you say they hate us because they're jealous of us.
Right.
That is the great. I've seen comics that everybody hated say that out loud to people to explain why the entire comedy scene hates them because they're jealous of their success. While people like Nick Swartzen or Bobby Lee do incredible things and everybody's happy for them because they love them. They love them. They support them. They've watched them go from open micer to these Bobby Lee, who is single-handedly carrying the comedy scene in LA right now by himself, him and Andrew Santino carrying the scene. And we're supposed to, nobody hates them. They all love them. Okay? They all love them. So when you say people hate us because we're famous, because we're successful, that is a sign of pure narcissism and you're out of arguments.
Person if your entire identity exists around one little aspect of who you are, whether it's you're black or you're gay or you're Jewish or whatever it is. Like if your whole identity is about that, like people are complex. I'm not just a white guy. I'm not just somebody who likes rap. I'm not just like there are all these things that make me. You can't just say, well, he's a white guy and then I fit every other white guy. That's just as stupid as every other black person. Like you're not just this one thing. Like, and you either are a good person or you aren't. You either look at some poor innocent kid fighting a tank and go, hey, that's not fair, or you're in a cult. Like it's just some point like
you're emotionally
there has to be right and wrong, right? There has to be just something we can all agree on. Blowing little kids up is wrong, and it's not wrong to say that,
100. You had something to say?
No, you're good.
Well, yeah, and the argument I have, because I do a show with a guy, and this is a big part of our discussion, and he always acts like he hates it, but he's the first one to bring it up all the time, is why do we focus on Israel? Well, I don't know. Show me another country where we're passing laws that if we don't recognize them or want to work with them, we can't get a business license. We can't operate our business. Show me another country that has almost every single congressman and senator has their flag in their office. Why is that happening? This argument that AIPAC doesn't have any power goes against your eyes, your ears, or the wisdom of your experiences. Why?
If it was China, you'd be losing your mind, right?
Yeah.
If it was China and they all had Chinese flags and they were all Chinese dual citizens. Oh my God. Especially like with the Republicans, they'd be losing their damn mind about it. But it's Israel, so like let's lick those boots and who cares what's happening? But because like in the South where I'm raised in the Bible Belt, like every church is like it's all about Israel. It's one of the reasons I couldn't go to church anymore because it just like it got on my nerves so bad because they know nothing about geopolitics and they just mindlessly support Israel no matter what. And if you say a word about it, but you're just a scumbag. But my heart shows me, my soul showed me real quick like this is wrong. And if you're hated by people who murder kids, then it's not such a bad thing. If I'm hated by people who support pedophiles, I don't care if those people hate me. Like we're doing the right thing. None of our hatred comes from who you worship. Like I know you're the same way I am. I don't give a rat's ass who you care. You can pray to Jesus or Allah or Buddha. I don't give a damn. But if you murder a child, I hate you and I'm coming after you.
And like how many of these atheist Jews, don't have children, and therefore they can sit there and project their feelings of adults onto these kids, and there's no other country where their politicians can talk about their enemies the way Israel talks about their enemies. There's no other country. There's no other country that can refer to another human being as dogs, animals to slaughter. Yeah. Nobody.
Look at how they refer to their allies, us, the Goyim, It's like they don't talk that kindly about us either.
And there's also no other country where like almost every citizen served 2 years in the IDF, where they went over there and stole other people's land. So if you're not a kid in Israel, you're guilty of some of this shit. I lived in America. I never sent a single bomb to Iraq. I never jumped on any planes. I didn't serve in the military. I'm not dogging the military. I'm just saying I took no part in those wars. But if I flew to Israel, I'd be living on somebody else's land and have to spend 2 years oppressing those people. Well, you're not innocent then. The kids are innocent in that country, but if you flew over there and stole their land, if you flew over there and picked up a gun and shot at them, you're not innocent. I don't care if you were out of the military for 3 years, you're still guilty.
Yeah, and it's a psychologically and spiritually annihilating their own people because all these guys are coming back from Gaza and unaliving themselves. Yeah. They're seeing it happen right now. They're unaliving themselves because the horrors that they're seeing, they're becoming the people that they hate. And I just had a friend of mine call me a J hater. You're such a J hater. I'm not. I live with somebody for 22 years that's Jewish. Sorry. It's just.
But if you can't, as a person, if you can't distinguish between what Israelis are doing and Jays, then I mean, what kind of level of thinking are you on? You know what I mean? Like to not be able to distinguish between the Israeli government and what the military, which is every citizen essentially, like he said. That has nothing. I mean, that could be any other country. If Qatar was around, slaughtering people in the streets, we would be it would be
Yeah.
just, and
Well, they
people
tried
wouldn't
to
say, "Oh, we
demonize
hate."
Qatar, right? For
Yeah,
a
they
long-
did. Yes, of course.
They were trying to say they're influencing our politics, and I'm not saying they're not. I think all these countries are because they want to trade with us. And
Well, they
don't-
learned from the best over there. They learned from Israel.
Yep. And the notion that Israel is the Israel that they talk about in the Bible is laughable.
Right.
Like the argument that God is like, guys, you got to get behind Netanyahu.
Yeah, true.
Well, and I think we should say this too. It's very clear that not every Jew supports Israel.
Yeah.
I mean, when they bombed in Gaza, they killed one of those food trucks. They were killing Jews who were volunteering to go in and feed them. Obviously, those Jews were on the right side. So you can't hate every Jew or say every Jew is guilty when they're blowing up Jews who are standing against them. You know what I mean? So it's like it's these specific people in this specific area, and it has nothing to do with their religion. It has to do with their actions.
And it's all programming, dude. It's all programming. This has been a program forever. If you live in Israel, you don't have to work if you study the Talmud. Talmud scholars, doctrines in Talmud. And that weaponizes you. The things they say out loud. It's like when the Spain basketball team went to the Chinese Olympics and was doing this, and everyone in the West was upset.
The worst thing that ever happened.
And you guess who wasn't upset? The Chinese. Because they're all Chinese, and they're like, oh, dude, that's funny. That looks like us. You know?
Dude,
But
if LeBron did that, they'd love it.
they would laugh.
Yeah, if LeBron went like this, he'd kill over there.
But you know what they wouldn't do? Serve them at a restaurant because the Chinese are openly racist against Africans. Steve Byrne took me to China one time, and when I had to hide in a bush because I looked Middle Eastern, I had to hide in a bush for him to call a taxi because over there they hate Middle Easterns because they're all drug dealers. So I couldn't get a taxi. I mean, because they're ethnocentric. And when you're trying to create an ethnocentric state, you're going to have groupthink. And if there's nobody there going, hey, man, we shouldn't refer to these human beings as animals, you'll get ran out of fucking society. You'll get put on a plane and go. Yeah. Why can't you get a DNA test in Israel? Why do you need to go through the courts to get that done? Because they're not who they think.
Semites?
Yeah, you can't do that, dude. And that's why I love Mean Magic, because it's like, it's just so powerful and they can't fight it. And so they've gotten to the point where now any criticism is anti-Semitic, no matter how valid it is.
Well, I'll tell you, when I really realized how powerful I was when in 2018 we were targeted by the Atlantic Council. I was part of what was known as the Purge, and it was when just hundreds of people were, and it was really a very small number of people like me who were kicked off the internet at the same time on the same day, the Free Thought Project, and that was the day. That's like the proudest day of my life as an activist, because that means the most powerful people in the world were so scared of me and my memes that they silenced me. Like, they included me in this giant Rolling Stone. Matt Taibbi wrote an article, Who Will Fix Facebook? They went into like what they did to us. But that was the moment when I realized, like, I really am, like, they're scared. And I knew I was the first one to say, like they're going to make memes illegal, because I knew there was no way they're going to let me, this regular dude, get up in the morning, drink a cup of coffee and make something. And millions of people have seen it by lunch and it's traveling the world. And they do not want me to have that kind of power. And that's why they've steadily shadow banned it. And like, I can't make any pays that'll give above 10,000, or they'll just delete me again. Like, I'm on that permanent list of, that's why I like tell other activists, like, come get my memes and share them, because they're not going to ever let me have an audience again. And that's what happened to the Free Thought Project. Right after Jason Bassler was on your show, he got his page hacked again and got taken out. Every time he gets to a certain level, they take him out, because we're already on that. We were the first ones on the list. They were like, these are the most dangerous people on the internet. And that's why that's my proudest moment as an activist. Like, nothing could be better than that, than have the most powerful people go, this fucking meme guy is annoying as shit. We got to shut this guy up.
And the thing about Jason that's so powerful is that he doesn't go either side. And that's what scares them the most.
Yeah, they hate that.
Like, if you go one side or the other, they love that shit. This show would be so much bigger if it went hard right core and was just shitting on the left no matter what they did. and totally absolve the right of any of their sins, this show would be 10 times bigger. Because that's
before 2018, it wouldn't have been, because before 2018, it was kind of a free internet. It was still a lot of shadow going. There's still a lot of stuff going. Don't get me wrong, but we were bigger than seeing like our groups together. We were getting bigger and bigger every single day. The truth is, there's a ton of people that want to listen to you, but they make it hard as shit to find you. So that's what, because you attract more people. Because the truth is there's only 300 something million people in the U.S. and that are doing the right left shit. There's billions of people on the planet who know that what's going on. There's billions of people that know what's going on in Palestine. So I mean, when you look at it that way, like this is a small group of people. There's a huge world of people who want to know what's going on, who know that 9/11 was a lie, who know that COVID is a lie. And they're looking, that's why they try so hard to distract us and keep us divided and keep even within the truth movement divided. And, with there's a lot of the stuff that I brought this up on the other podcast with My Family Thinks I'm Crazy, where, the no virus thing, where everybody's, oh, there's no viruses. Well, that may be true. But if you go up to a normie and you say there's no viruses, they're never going to listen to you. They're never going to believe that every single doctor and their mom and every person they ever met, it doesn't matter if you're right. It matters about waking people up, right? Because right now we're in a race. Agenda 2030. So look, when I was coming up, it was Agenda 21. And then later they changed it to Agenda 2030. And there was this moment where we felt like, oh man, we beat them a little bit, right? They had to move their agenda back some until 2020. And then 2021, just like Agenda 21, all of a sudden everybody's getting shots. Cash is dirty. We need a currency that nobody can touch. It needs to be digital. Oh, what if you had an ID in your, like everything we were talking about. So if we take that lesson, then we know that it's 2025. 2030 is 5 years away. So you need to be using like the best available evidence. That's why I say, and I said this, but I was going to say this on here. I don't care about flat earth. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. What I know is if you go up to a normie and you try to wake them up by saying the earth is flat, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to listen to a damn word you say. You need to be using the best available evidence to wake as many people as you can up, because real people are dying from these shots. Real people will die if they continue to do Agenda 2030. And they continue to move that way. A whole lot of people are in danger. So the one reason I wanted to come on here was to tell you with 2 things really. One, please use the best available evidence. You use simple, like think about what it was like when you were a normie before you're awake, and imagine somebody coming at you. Don't throw somebody in the deep end of the pool, right? You choose somebody to swim slowly. And the only other thing I want to say, and I know that you say, like, I've heard you say a bunch of times, like, you can't wake anybody up anymore. It's not true, man. Everybody's waking up. There are all these kids who are growing up. It was funny because I talked to him about your guy, Mark, about how in 2006 I was doing stuff. And he was like, man, I saw loose change when I was in middle school in 2006. You can't account for all those young people, man. You can't account for all these people that totally bought the lie and then took those shots and now they got myocarditis. People wake up. People are always waking up. They want you to believe that you can't wake anybody up. They want you to believe that it's not worth it, because that's how they win, by making you feel like you can't win, you can't do anything. But I am living proof that is not true, that you can be the most insignificant motherfucker around. But if you truly believe it and you truly fight and you use your tools and your skills, you can reach more people than you could possibly imagine. Our greatest strength is that we have the truth and we have the numbers, but we have to believe that we can do it. And maybe we won't win, but at least we try. But you can't always wake people up. There are tons of people who are 19, 20 who have never been exposed to this information before, and they're seeking, they're wanting to learn. And so it's not true, Sam. You wake people up all the time.
No. I just want to clarify what I say when I say that. It's because if I really believed it was hopeless, the show wouldn't be going on. I would figure out somehow how to pay my bills and take care of my kids. What I mean by that is, like, when I watch someone become a new conspiracy theorist, usually it involves P-gate, right? They'll get the P-gate, and all of a sudden you just see this kind of flip happen in them, and they just go full retard strength put their head down and run right into the wall. I'm not saying that you can't wake people up. What you have to understand is, like, they have to wake themselves up. And how do you wake them up is by putting out the memes putting out the show we do, putting out the data there. And when they find it and they're ready for it, then they wake up. To get upset at your friends for not being into conspiracies is going to hurt you in the long run. To not want to talk to your dad because he's a Trumper is going to be bad for you in the long run. They win when that happens. I know a guy that doesn't talk to his family anymore because they're all Trump people. I'm like, what is the point, man? And again, this gets into my whole thing of like, there's a part of us that just wants to save the world. What is the point of saving the world if you're going to be miserable in that world? You have to go, we're doing hard work. I say this all the time when I get called control opposition. I am working my hardest as much as I can to get out the purest information I can. There's going to be people on here that maybe down the line, people go, that guy's not. I can't control that. I can only go to the person on the show, and this has been said about the show. I really don't like pushing back against guests. Unless they're like pushing bigotry against people, I really go, say what you gotta say, and God help you in the comment section. That's my whole theory, dude. It's like I learned that. I didn't learn this from Art Bell, but I realized it's what Art Bell did when I later started studying Art Bell. He get the people calling him the craziest shit. And he never went, dude, that doesn't make any sense. He goes, okay, tell me about it. And then he would allow them to say what they wanted to say, and then let the listeners decide whether he faked the funk on a nasty dunk. Okay, just let it go, dude. That's really it. I understand what you're saying. We are waking people up. I've told these guys multiple times. There are comics out there that I got into arguments with on their podcast about Russiagate or whatever it is, not being real. And now they're going, dude, you were right about everything. Holy shit. They found it when they were ready to find it. We put out the purest information we can to the best of our ability. And then when you're ready to hear it, you're ready to hear it. If you're a new person, let's say you tuned in day one, this is the first episode. This would be a great episode to kick off. It's a perfect episode, right? Yeah. Well, if you really want to do it, go back to episode 1. Go listen to me and Eddie Bravo. And you can even go through us as we're trying to figure out shit as you already know the answer to it. Oh, man.
I listened to you back then.
Yeah,
I didn't
right?
get it. At first I was like, I don't know what's up with this guy. Like, he puts some people on that are good, some people on their bad. And then I realized, like, this isn't the Corbett Report. This isn't, like, he's a comedian who's letting people talk and they come on and they say their thing and he just lets them say their thing, which I respect that. Like, that you're not trying to be a journalist. You're just, you're like,
I'm a dick joke comic.
Yeah, you're just trying.
This show became way more serious than it was meant to be. It was literally, I was telling all the guys the other day, it was literally like, I want to talk to my comic friends about conspiracies because I love conspiracies. And my best friend, then still, Eddie Bravo, was like on the Mount Rushmore of conspiracy theorists. And I had him on the first episode. And then we brought in this guy named Off the Grid, and he started booking it, and he started bringing in darker guests. And if you look at some of the, I'd say the 20 episode 20 and around there, there were some dark people on the show, and I didn't realize what was going on. But then someone like Greg Carlwood came on, and that guy's a G of G's, and it became, and then he was on, then everybody started wanting to be on it, and then it became a lot more than it was meant to be, which was a Dick Joe comic talking about conspiracy.
So you kind of wanted more like a Butterflies or Ninja style?
No. They do serious. It was literally meant, let's get funny people to talk about the conspiracies they believe. We had Joey Diaz on.
It was an
talking
ATC
about,
show.
Yeah. And we had Joey Diaz on talking about the death of Bruce Lee. But it's Joey Diaz telling it, so it's super funny and fun. Yeah. And then
maybe
authors
not the most
wanted to come on, talk about their books, and then it became like this real thing. And now I'm happy it's that, because I'm not saying our show did it. I'm saying we're one of the shows that were early on that kind of spawned this like plethora of conspiracy podcasts.
Who was the last comedian you had on? It's been a while.
Like that? Are we talking like of the known conspiracies?
Tim Dillon. He said Tim
Probably Tim Dillon. Kurt Kreischer was on a long time ago.
That's been a long time.
Dana's always like, you should have him back on. Doors open.
Yeah, Tim Dillon. We'll have the president on too. Anybody who wants
to. We'll have everybody on, and so that's to me the show. But one thing I want to get into with you is the work you've been doing in getting fluoride out of water. So can we get in a little of that? Because that alone should wake people up. Now, I have a dentist. My daughter's autistic. She got into dentistry because her daughter was autistic. And I really love her, and she's a great, 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 great person. And I know she comes from a place of love because of why she started her dentistry. But we're there, and she goes, do you want to get the fluoride shot? I don't know if it was called a shot, but she said basically the fluoride medication. And knowing what I know about fluoride, I
Probably a
politely,
little cup, right? Like a shot cup. that she's talking
something
about.
like
Yeah,
that.
the mouthwash. yeah.
Because we never got to what it was. I heard fluoride, shut it down. But when this story comes out about fluoride being a neurological poison, the fact that people didn't lose their mind
Yeah.
over that, the fact that Fauci gets no shit until recently, and RFK Jr., and we could have a discussion about RFK, I'm fine with that as well, is getting all the shit for wanting to tell you about what the Hep B medication, what its side effects could be, is absolutely insanity to me. And it goes back to what Malcolm X said about, like, watch out, the media will have you loving the
oppressors and hating the oppressed.
Yep. And that's where we're at right now.
Well, for me, it really started when I first started waking up. You know, I stopped watching TV. I woke up like at the end of 2005, beginning of 2006. And I stopped watching TV for like 2 years, and I just researched. Like, I just watched documentaries. Like, obviously, all this stuff to me is way more interesting than anything that was on TV. And plus, I was like deprogramming myself, you know. And I remember I found this site called educateyourself.us or something like that. It was a really basic website. It just had all these categories. But one of the categories was fluoride. And I remember when I first went on there, I was like, fluoride's a toothpaste, like whatever. And I ignored it. And then one night, you know, after going through months of looking through all this different stuff, I was like, all right, let me see what the fluoride thing is. And sure enough, it was like, oh wait, this is industrial waste, and this is like really, you know. And I was blown away by it. And you had my buddy Justin on from We Are Change, who he went viral with the Challenger stuff. And
Oh yeah, he was great.
Yeah, I love Justin. He's one of my best friends. Like, I really wanted to go to Orlando when we won the victory in Florida, but he's an awesome person. And you know, he was fighting down there, and there was nobody to fight in Northwest Florida, and I live around Pensacola. And so yeah, I was like, I can't let you have all the fun. So I started jumping into it. And one of my best moments as an activist was winning in Niceville. And I wrote them and was like, you know, and I presented some information, and their mayor wrote me back and was like, we're going to bring it up at the council tomorrow night. I was like, oh man. So I went there, and then they voted it out that night. And it hits me in the, you know, sorry.
I love it, dude. I love it.
Because they were all a little bit safer because I did something, you know?
Yeah.
And, but I mean, like with the dentist, it's just like anybody else. It's just like, and you know, you said something earlier about like, you know, you don't talk to your mom. My mom hasn't talked to me since 2020. She's a nurse. She couldn't explain anything about PCR tests, something. She hasn't talked to me in 5 years. Like,
Unbelievable.
So, I mean, think
about how powerful that programming is, that a mother isn't talking to her child.
Yeah, because if she doesn't want to admit that she's been wrong about me for 20 years. Like, she thought I was nuts until it was funny when the Epstein didn't kill himself meme pop. She came to my job one day and she was like, you always said they were a bunch of pedophiles. I was like, I told you, you know. And it was like, over the years she realized I was right, but when all of a sudden I was right and she was going to lose her job by talking about it, it was easier to just be like, I'm not talking to you anymore. You can't talk about this anymore. But I'm not going to go back on what I've been doing for 20 years. So it was like, we're at this impasse with this. You're wrong. And she knows she's wrong, but she'd rather not talk to me. So that, like with the dentist,
I feel for you, man.
It's the same thing though. Like, they've been programmed their whole life to believe that fluoride is this miracle thing. And if you don't have it in your water, everybody's getting cavities. It doesn't matter that 90% of the world doesn't have that shit in their water, more than 90%. It doesn't matter that there's no evidence at all that it's actually helping your teeth. And there's a bunch of evidence that it causes neurological problems. Like, it doesn't matter because it's the same with everything else. You just, unless you have the mind like we have, where we're capable of going, I was wrong. I was taught this thing and it was wrong. And for some reasons, our minds work like that, but theirs don't. And then sometimes they can encounter a tragedy or some eye-opening moment, and it changes their life. But for the most part, unless they have that moment, it is very hard to overcome that. And I don't know how their minds work that way, because my mind doesn't work that way. For me, it's unbelievable that you can be shown stuff like this and still believe the same thing. But obviously, like, it's like if you know somebody who's murdered somebody, you can't figure it out, right? If you find somebody's a pedophile. I don't get it. My brain doesn't work that way. It's just, but that's the thing. Like, we just have different brains, and that dentist can be the loveliest person in the world, but she's been taught from the moment she got into school that fluoride is this amazing. The same way with vaccines. You talk to people, oh my God, it's the greatest health thing ever. Is it? Is it really? Have you looked at the stats? Have you looked at when smallpox disappeared? Have you actually looked into it? Because it's not really. But if that's all you've been taught, and you're the one person saying it's not true, you just look like an idiot, you
and your mother, sadly, are an example of what I've said about people that want to believe in conspiracies. It's like, first of all, everyone thinks they have a good bullshit meter, and that got past them, and they don't want to admit that. That's ego. Some people don't want to know if they're part of the problem, and that is devastating to people. They don't want. They're making money. They're feeling good about themselves. Their bills are paid. The food's in their stomach. Roof over their head. They don't want to go. Am I participating in a giant war against humanity? And three is they have children and they don't want to think about the world they brought kids into. They don't want to believe that shit, and it scares the shit out of them. And so they'd rather be ignorant to it and just go with the flow. And it's like my friend Scott Ross. I don't know if it's his saying, but he says it all the time. Only dead fish go along with the flow. Only dead fish. And it's just the most true saying ever. And it's just like, and they don't understand what they're allowing to happen. And again, going into the programming of a mother with a child. And it's not just moms, dads are like this. A very famous comedian, Jim Jeffries, who I think is a great comic. He has a whole joke that was very famous, gotten very big because it plays to the narrative of that he convinced he lied to his wife or the mother of his child about getting the kid vaccinated, and everyone cheered. And you're like, that sounds like a violation to me.
Yeah.
That sounds like a fucking violation of trust. But they don't understand it. And it's just like they're dealing with simple paradigms. Good guy, bad guy, right and wrong, black and white. Everything is put into those because, again, we live in this kind of mass singer world where everything is easily digestible. And these things take nuance. And the really important stuff is a nuanced discussion. And they don't want to get into the nuance. It's political correctness. It's like the joke that I felt should have been way bigger than it was, and it just never spread, was like my joke about oppression math. And it's basically, as a comic walks on the stage, the crowd calculates how much his demographic has been oppressed, and that's what they'll let him get away with. And then I break down how every group, what they can say and what they can't say. And at the top of the oppression ladder is a fat black gay midget who can say whatever the fuck they want to say, right? And it gets in this new bit, and I won't say the word because I don't want to offend you, but I said the real N-words of the world are the paraplegics because they're the most oppressed out of anybody. And they can do whatever they want. I do a joke about how you could have a paraplegic in a wheelchair and blackface, just wheel him out in the middle of a Laker game, throw up a Heil Hitler, and everyone would clap because, he's the most oppressed out of there. But that's just how it is. So it's not a real set rule. It's a rule based on what people, the simplicity of the human mind and and it gets into, and I love women. I love them. My daughters are females. I love women, but it's really about making them comfortable and not challenging the way they think, the paradigms in which they see the world. And they don't want to call black people racist because they say the M word. It's simpler just to laugh at the word out loud every time it's said. Then they actually go, well, that seems kind of racist to me. This is what we're doing. These are paradigms in which they do. People want to keep it simple, stupid. That's everything. And when we're talking about food dyes, when we're talking about chemicals put in food that you have no clue why they're in there, I'll tell you why they're in there. They make you dumb and unhealthy so you can't participate in government. They don't want you to fucking figure out that the Federal Reserve is funding everything you hate in the world. It is funding the false reality that is being projected onto God's reality. Every time you go, that doesn't make sense, that's the false paradigm. That's a false reality that's been projected onto you, onto the world around you, so you don't understand it.
Sure. Yeah, I agree completely.
And it's like the fact that we have to fight with people to get fluoride out of water when there's so much data that says it's not good for us. And how did they sell to us? Look at the British. Look at their teeth. Their teeth are jacked. Do you want jacked teeth? Well, I'd rather have jacked teeth than neurological problems.
Well, that's part of the scam too, is right? It's because they tell you it's fluoride, but it's actually hydrofluorosilicic acid or hexafluorosilicic acid. So, like, I would ask people get mad. Oh, better call a dentist. Everybody's going to need teeth. Like, where's it come from? I just ask them, where's it come from? This fluoride that you think is fluoride, where's it come from? Can't answer the question. What's it made of? What else is in it? Like, they have no answers at all. And what was really frustrating was I had to deal with the ECUA in Pensacola. And, like, they knew I was right. But they couldn't. I would ask them, like, okay, how does me showering in toxic waste help my teeth? Like, they couldn't answer the question. How does me drinking toxic waste help my teeth? I don't drink sunscreen to protect my skin. Why am I drinking toxic waste to protect my teeth? And I would just hit them with all these, and they could never answer any questions. But they didn't want to rock the boat, like with a lot of politicians. If I take this stand, these people are going to be mad at me. So it's let me just do what the bare minimum and wait for the state legislature to take care of it. But people are just so tribalistic that I don't know why we're so different as people. Like I've thought about it for like I said before with the 99% thing, like everybody understands that, but like, why does our mind go, no, there's nothing to worry about. And their minds are freaking out. Like, I don't get it, but I know that we're on the right side of history with this stuff. And I know that when it came down to it, when I would talk to dentists, they couldn't answer my questions. Like if they can cause neurological problems, when your kid has a neurological disorder, do you take it to a dentist? No. So why would you bring dentists in to explain why we should keep it? Why don't you bring some neurologists in here and let them talk? But instead it was like,
that's a great point.
So it's like when you actually start breaking down the argument, when you learn how to debate in real life and you learn how to research and you know how to pull up facts, you can destroy these people. So like there's not a doctor alive that can debate me on COVID. Because I know Gary Mullis, I know how the tests are done, I know how the scams, the case numbers were done, I know how the fake deaths were done.
Yeah.
Like because I documented all of it. So I don't care. You can do brain surgery, but you won't beat me in a debate on PCR tests. You won't be able to explain how amplification fixes the false positive rates because you don't know anything about it. So it's really like knowledge wins. So yeah,
I'm convinced we've said this before that Gary Mullis got the Nobel Peace Prize because he created a weapon for the elites to push a bioweapon on us. And I think towards the end, he seemed very tormented by it. And he never, like, you watch all of his interviews, he looks like he's just in fear. And he was dropping bombs on everything, on HIV, on all that stuff. Because again, we just had a guest on talking about that the PCR test basically cranks everything up 60,000 times. My favorite memes was like, a symptom of COVID is no symptoms.
Right.
Right? And like people like us are like, none of this makes sense. If I sit down, I can't get it. But if I stand up, I get it.
Right.
It makes no sense. And Eddie Bravo talks about it all the time. He refused to shut down his school. They were rolling with each other the whole time. They should have all been COVID positive.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I never wore a mask. I threw parties for all my friends that knew that I was right. And we threw a big party. We all camped out together all weekend in this big giant, lodge or whatever. Like, cause I was just cause everybody was so depressed. And I was like, trying to make sure, like, don't be depressed. Like they're trying to scare the shit out. Like you don't have to be scared.
Yeah.
We were all fine. I didn't take any of those shots. I didn't wear a mask one damn time. We were fine. I didn't do anything that they said I was supposed to do. I'm still here just fine.
Sounds like Gavin Newsom. Yeah.
And Bill Gates.
I don't have myocarditis.
Talking about if we're lucky, this will lower the population by this many people, this percentage of people. And you go, well, is he talking about COVID? Is he talking about the reaction to the, what is he talking about? Well, are they taking in the account of how many people unlive themselves during it? How many people OD'd on drugs during it? I mean, that's all part of this master spiritual warfare that happened. And to be so lost, you want to unalive yourself is like one of the saddest things in the world, because in my belief, you have to come back here and do it all over again. I'm actually starting to think that you don't jump into another body. You just relive this life until you get it right over and over and over again. And I'm not saying that's what it is. I go, that's my feel, that we get in and you just keep doing it again. So I always tell people, you know, you're feeling really shitty right now. You're thinking about the worst possible solution, permanent solution to a temporary problem. You know, you're going to have to do it again. You're going to come back and have to do it all over again. And you're going to have to freaking figure it out how not to find yourself in the exact same place with the exact same options that you think in your head. And those are all in your head. And, you know, we've been talking about this on the show a lot, but, you know, Joe Rogan just had a guest on that was talking about like what depression and anxiety is about. It's the overthinking of this negative thought over and over again, which I'm not against. But Johnny, we talked about it. Like, I think it's your programming and your reality come together and they crash and they don't fit together, and you're just upset about it, and you're really lost, and because the world you were trained to believe in isn't real, doesn't exist.
It's hard, dude. Yeah, I mean, I really think we are in spiritual. Like I went through a really intense spiritual thing when I was like 19, and I felt like very strongly like I'm supposed to do something important. Like I didn't know what it was, but I felt it in every part of my being. Like I'm supposed to do something that matters. And then I ended up doing like reaching millions and millions of people and being one of the most plagiarized people, like especially within the movement. Like, you know, you got a computer in your pocket. I'm the first person that made that meme because I made it about Tesla and it went viral. The reason I made it was because that was when you finally got a computer in your pocket. It was when we got smartphones. And I spent all these time handing out DVDs, handing out flyers, and then I was trying to get people to look it up on their laptop. And finally you had a computer in your pocket. I'm like, look it up. It's got a damn computer in your pocket. Like, you know, because I had lived through that whole thing. It is a spiritual battle. And I know for sure, say whatever you want. We are all connected. That part I am absolutely 100% positive of. And that there's something greater that connects all of us. And that some of us are put here to fight back against these people. That there's this evil part of this world that is clearly evil. They clearly believe in this occult stuff. And they do all these evil things. And for me, I don't know how I would have got through all these 20 years of being mocked and laughed at if I didn't know deep down that I kept following this path, that inside of me I had this compass and it kept saying, this is wrong, do this. And even with the memes, like my ex-wife and my mom, they were making fun of me for making memes. And then one day I was getting paid for it. And it was fun to tell my mom, like, I quit my job. She's like, you quit your job? I was like, yeah. So I just make memes now. She's like, you making memes? Like, yeah, they're paying me for it. Just watching her brain go, huh? Because they all thought it was stupid. But I was like, I'm doing something here. I know there's something to this. I truly believe that God's amplified my voice. Whatever you want to call it. Like I happen to have been brought up in the America in the South. So, you know, but if I was in, you know, Syria, I'd probably be a Muslim, but I still believe there's some kind of power there that magnified my voice and that keeps showing me this is the way to go. This is the path. And every time I do that, even if everybody around me is going, you're stupid, over and over again, it's paid off because there is something out there that's good too. If there's all this evil, there's an equal balance of good. And it is right to stand up to stop kids from being poisoned, stop kids from being murdered, to stop kids from being abused. It is the right thing to do. And we are on the right side of that. And that's why a lot of times I'll make memes and they're just for me and you. I'll be making fun of normies and shit like that. People are like, why are you calling that? It's like, because it's not to wake them up. It's to make you feel like you're not alone. Because I know that feeling. I know how isolating it is to be the only person in Florida when Jeb Bush is the governor saying that George Bush, or at least in my town, saying that the Bush administration is responsible for 9/11. I was not popular at all, but I would not shut up about it. And over the years, people were like, holy shit. And then Trump talked about it. And then all of a sudden it was like, hey, maybe you're right. And like, oh yeah, it took Trump to say something about it. Now you get it. But the whole time I knew like those people jumped to their deaths. And they lied the whole time. And then they started wars over it. So it is the right thing to do to be on this side of it. And even if you take all that heat, you are following a true and noble path. Even if you get hate for it, I sleep well at night, and I've had this success because I did the right thing and I followed my heart. And for you, those of you out there to feel alone, you are not alone. They want you to feel alone. They want you to feel disconnected. They want you to feel powerless, but you are not powerless. Don't ever believe that you're powerless. You have more power than you can possibly imagine. There's a talent that you have inside of you that you can use. There's a gift that you have. There's a person that you can reach. And if you only reach one person and wake that one person up, that one person might turn out to be the person that wakes up a leader. And that leader wakes up 1,000 people. Like, this is a powerful gift that we have. And it's a powerful mission that we're on. And we all should be doing it.
Well, brother, that's why you're the Lord of the memes, dude.
Yeah.
That was powerful.
That was great.
That was a great ending to the show. I could keep going, but I'm like, that's it. That's the best way to end the show.
And on a dunk.
That was a nasty dunk, dude. That's a demoralizing thing. You just got all the opponents' women pregnant. That was amazing. Winston, you fucking crushed on the show. I really enjoyed it. And I know that you stepped in because we needed a guest, and I couldn't think of a better guest to done it. It's an honor to meet you. You do fucking the Lord's work, dude. It's really great to see. One more time, can you tell them where they can find you?
Sure, I'm Prophetic Mimetics, like a prophet, mimetics, because it was just based on my meme that ended up predicting the future about the virus. But Prophetic Mimetics, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Winston Montag on Facebook. I have a personal profile. I want to shout out Tinfoil Hat Factory for sending me my beanie just for your show. And just thank you again for having me on. I'm a big comedy nerd, and it was really exciting to do this. This might be my last podcast, but I'm glad.
Why is it going to be your last podcast?
Because I've kind of done it. I've kind of said my part.
Respect. Well, we would hope you'd come back again. We'd love to have you on. There's always.
I'll do your show again for sure. Yeah,
all right, cool. I respect that. We really enjoyed it. This was great, and this is what it's all about. So if you enjoyed it, check all the links below. Support Winston, and let's break down the episode. Hey guys, real quick, what did you guys think about Winston?
Oh, I need to get into the meme game.
I would love to see your memes, dude. I think Xavier Guerrero memes. Are there Spanish memes? Do you see a lot of Spanish?
Yeah, of course. That's worldwide. I think memes are really worldwide, like you were talking about. And
they're just so powerful.
mine would be illiterate, misspelling everywhere.
Yeah, you'd even misspell Spanish.
Have you ever? I was going to ask you. Have you ever made a decent meme?
No. Oh yeah. The one time I did is I used Britney Spears' face when she's like looking at something. And it was like every time you go to your favorite website and they have a new format, that was the only meme I've ever done.
I've done a few. I remember that West Virginia in the tournament, that they had that player who said that they were going to go undefeated or something like that, and then they ended up getting shit. It was like 33-0 or something, and I was like, he said 33-0. He meant the score, and they were just everybody. It went crazy. It's like sports memes is kind of a cheat code if you can do a good sports meme.
Oh, I think making memes is like a skill or like a talent because you got to be fast. You got to be fast.
And I'm sure some people are better than others.
Yeah, it takes too long.
And to become a meme lord, you have to be the best. You got to get black belt.
Oh, dude. Yeah. He had to tell his mom.
Train
told
your
his
brain.
mom, I quit my job to make
that's
memes.
the only thing I wish I would have told him. I didn't talk. I think he should reach out to his mom.
Yeah, 100%.
I think he should reach out to his mom. Guys, real quick, we're going to finish up the episode, but if you go to samtripoli.com, you can check out all the premium content. That's what I really want to talk to you about. All my regular content's there, but my premium content is on fire. Whatever this is, Deep Conspiracy Rewinds. It's all there. I'm putting out 3 a week when I can. We had a little bit of a hiccup with the Stripe processing. We're back to good. And then finally, Johnny, talk about Cash Daddy's Patreon and how much fire
is he? Speaking of fire, he's on fire. We've started this month about as good as we've started any month ever. He's killing it. So
Howie is an idiot savant when it comes to investing, and I know the $20 sounds a lot to people, but if you can invest,
I just read. Do you realize that he's like his plays are just all unlocked there because he's not putting them? That's so funny. Like you can see all the calls and everything. So you don't even have
my God!
Oh, don't stop, Johnny.
Johnny.
Well, I mean, we should tell him. We just got to tell him.
Well, he shouldn't put it in the title.
Right? Yeah, that's it.
Well.